Soft girl, cool girl, clean girl, it girl. I love an it girl, and who wouldn't? That's literally like the whole point. I want to be her, you want to be her, we all want to be her. In the past, it girls to me have always been people who made or inspired art, music, fashion, the blueprint, some could say. But in the past year or two, I've been seeing the rise of this idea that the it girl is something that can be bought or obtained purely aesthetically. But once you figure out how to do your hair perfectly and finish your morning workout, eat your acai bowl, what is left? And it's not to say that there weren't it girls of the past who were purely it girls because their families were extremely wealthy, which I would totally agree with, but usually even those girls had this level of taste, or they were just so messy that they brought so much shame upon their family that the media just couldn't help but talk about it, which is something that I weirdly admire. But the idea of it girls in the past is starkly different than what I believe we think of when we think of the it girl today. The term it girl has morphed more into a mentality which is a combination between clean girl and girl boss. And if you aren't familiar with either of those terms because your brain isn't rotted like mine, I'll give it a little example. So a clean girl, for example, is someone who is very classy looking, typically perfect nails, perfect hair. They're also typically associated with very health conscious living, lots of Pilates, lots of Erewhon halls. And then a girl boss is more of a millennial term, but basically it's someone who's very business focused, no BS, and maybe if you're lucky, she'll slide into your Instagram DMs and try to get you to join her MLM. Before I get into this video, I want to clarify that this video is not about shitting on women who want to better themselves. Because I think as a whole, wanting to be an it girl and wanting to follow this it girl mentality that we've been seeing a lot on social media isn't necessarily a bad thing. Where I'm beginning to see the red flags with this mentality is I feel like there's a lack of personality and the overwhelming importance on being seen as an it girl, where I gain some concern. Contrary to what the millions of videos say, you don't have to fall into certain criteria to be an it girl, but I just want to talk about this criteria that is being put upon people. A wise woman once said, "Spell Pharaoh." A TikTok user by the name GlamDemon004 once made a video talking about how she perceived that a lot of people online seemingly only push themselves to be hot in life, and that a lot of people's only hobby is scrolling through social media.
I think we place way too much emphasis on looks when it comes to building confidence because some of you guys have not read a book in years, don't know how to do your taxes, have no sense of identity outside of the internet, and can't speak in public, and yet every morning, there you are looking at yourself in your full-length IKEA mirror going, "You're so hot. You're the prettiest girl in the world." Okay, and? Even if that were true, and let's be honest, who cares? Spell Pharaoh.
As TikTok does, she got absolutely decimated. Not here to talk about that specific video entirely, but I do like one of the points that she raised within that video. And that point is, why online does it seem like a lot of people's goals is just to be hot? In my opinion, the answer to this is because being hot online can get you so much further than doing literally anything else online. For every one person who gains a following online for being funny or educated, there are thousands of other people who are popular, way more popular, for just being hot or doing aesthetically pleasing things. It's not necessarily the fault of these creators for being hot or being aesthetic, because like you can't really change that about yourself necessarily. But I think that's where this be a hot girl mentality comes from, because being a hot girl can get you so much more money or so much more anything than being literally anything else. I also just hate how the internet and society in general refuses to engage with people that they don't find conventionally attractive. But that's like a bit of a different take that I'm not going to talk about totally right now. So with all this in mind, it just kind of goes in a circle. Hot person posts a video online, people go absolutely bonkers for it, hot person makes a ton of money from it. As a creator, why would you not want to keep posting yourself being hot online? Like, shit. I'm not gonna lie, I wish it was me, I wish it was me. But seeing this cycle as a viewer just reinforces the idea that you have to be hot and palatable to be successful. Because social media is so ingrained into our lives now, I believe that this is where the it girl mentality has stemmed from. Well, I already talked about it slightly. The overarching theme of this criticism is that the it girl mentality has an overwhelming emphasis on looks and how you look to other people. Traditionally, the it girl is someone who has sex appeal or just this indescribable allure to them. However, a lot of these girls of the past, while they may be smoking fucking hot, they usually did have a unique look or a talent with them. Think Barbra Streisand, Twiggy, Twiggy, Janet Jackson, Winona Ryder, Iman. So while being an it girl, yes, looks are important. But what I think a lot of these new social media it girl mentality video talking points, whatever, gets wrong is that it's not necessarily about how you should focus on fitting into the trends perfectly and always being exactly as society wants you to be. But instead, in my opinion, you should be leaning into your natural beauty and talents that can really shine through. Now I'm gonna go hater mode for a little bit. I promise I do not stay in hater mode, but we have to go into hater mode a little bit. So I'm gonna talk about a few ideas surrounding this it girl mentality that I don't really vibe with. Also, as I was doing research for this video, I saw a video that made me giggle a little bit when I saw the whole thing through, because there's just, you'll see.
I'm looking at the world through rose-colored glasses, and it says everything I feel.
What's that doing there? Obviously this person was just more focusing on the nails and like the rest of the picture rather than the book that's in this. But if you've ever read A Little Life, it has absolutely no business being in a cute aesthetic slideshow video on TikTok. If you don't know what A Little Life is about, read the synopsis. Actually, I don't even know what the synopsis tell you. If anything, to figure out what the book's about, look up the trigger warning list, and then you'll know why it doesn't make sense in this slideshow. My first point that I want to talk about is the push that a lot of these videos give to hyper-analyze yourself and also to really focus on your projection. A common theme throughout a lot of these videos is inward reflection and how you present yourself to the world, which is inherently good. Like, it's good to analyze yourself sometimes. But instead of this inward reflection being, how can I be a better friend and what do I do for my community? And instead the reflection seems to be more like, am I a Serena or am I a Blair? Or reflecting, what should my signature scent be? Also, a lot of these videos that cover the it girl mentality, how to be an it girl, they fucking love Gossip Girl. They love Serena van der Woodsen. They don't love Blair as much, which I don't really understand why, because she's more the it girl in my opinion anyways. And those reflections, while they are fun from time to time, like, it's nice to focus on the little things in your life. There's literally nothing wrong with that. But it just irks me when that is literally all that's promoted within these videos. And maybe I just don't understand or something, but it's crazy to me whenever I go on my phone, I click one of those videos, and it's just the most shallow take ever, and all the comments are like, yeah! I love when Serena was a total asshole to everyone around her. I want to be like that. For example, let's just talk about the signature scent videos, because there is so much about a signature scent. Now I'm thinking about my damn signature scent. A lot of the videos go along the lines of, my signature scent is blank because it gives me this princess feminine energy and the men cannot resist it. What I don't necessarily like about that is there's seemingly no thought process to what the person that's going to be wearing the perfume, like why they would be choosing that. So instead of picking, oh, I love this flower smell because it reminds me of my grandma or something, instead it's, how can I project this princess feminine energy? There's also a lot of videos that are like an it girl guide onto how you can be the most idiot of the girls. So let's just watch one of these videos, and I am going to be analyzing how it is presented.
Various activities that the messy it girl likes to do are going out for cocktails with her girlfriends. She always orders a martini.
Going out with your friends is fun, I agree. She always orders a martini. So you better drink that damn martini even if you hate it. Sorry, I'm being a little like too deep with this right now. Trust me, you do not need someone to tell you what you should drink at the bar just because they think it looks good in an Instagram photo.
Making her own t-shirts is an activity that she loves to do, and she can do like really fun slogans and either embroider them or iron them on.
Making your own t-shirts, I do endorse. It is fun, but also I feel like this is very random in here, but I'll take that one.
Learning an unexpected skill like guitar or playing the drums or DJing, and then surprising everyone when you're just like really good at this random thing.
This one is the one where I said, Learning an unexpected skill. Okay, I love hobbies. Get a hobby. Your intention for learning a skill or a hobby should not be so that you can surprise people. Like, why not just learn a skill because you want to? I also like how one of her examples here is learning to DJ with the hopes to impress someone. This makes me think that she has this fantasy that one day she's gonna go to a club and the DJ is gonna like die in the back or something, and then she's gonna have to spin that shit, and like she's gonna be so good and everyone's gonna be so impressed.
She's really good.
Just in general, why learn a hobby purely so you can like show it off to other people? I feel like that defeats the point of having a hobby. Like, hobby should be fun for you, not just because you think other people will think they're cool.
Start a vinyl collection.
Starting a vinyl collection, I love that. Getting your favorite artists and so you can listen to them anytime you want, so you own it, I'm fully supporting that.
Collect different vinyl records from super old school artists.
old school artists so that you have old school, I don't know, get ones you like. People will be equally as impressed. Like, you don't need to put on this facade that you're cultured if you're not. The other things on this list are fine. Going to a dance class, awesome. Like, it's inherently, all these things are not bad, but the fact that this is a guide to be a certain type of person, you shouldn't have to be told what type of person you want to be or who you are. And maybe I'm just thinking too deep into these videos and videos like this, but rather than encouraging people to find new hobbies that they like, it's sort of just telling you how to make your Instagram look cool. And since I'm on my ranting and raving shit right now, I just want to say that it girls are not watching the it girl guides. You think Bella Hadid, who is one of the idiots of the girls that a lot of these inspo Pinterest board, you know, type of videos have, Bella Hadid is always in there. You think Bella Hadid is sitting there scrolling on TikTok going, now, how can I be messy chic with a little twist of Serena van der Woodsen? Absolutely not. It girls are out doing things. It girls read books they find interesting. It girls listen to music that they actually enjoy, even if it might not be totally popular at the moment. It girls don't feel the compulsion to tell everyone that they are an it girl. I apologize for my rant there. I just find it incredibly interesting, maybe than anything else, for people to have to be told what they should be doing in their lives and thinking that it's going to give them some type of satisfaction or gratification. I don't know. I love people trying to help other people be great, but this just doesn't seem like the way to true happiness and to true fulfillment and to actually be confident in yourself. My next point stemmed from the 10 steps morning night shed videos. If you've watched any of my other videos, then you might know what time it is. Overconsumption. There's one thing people on social media love doing, and that is buying things, especially if there's chemicals in it. So I'm just gonna start off with something that I often see associated with it girl videos or it girl things to do, is this idea of the morning shed. Yes, I do believe that half of the morning shed videos are rage bait, but it stems from a real thing that people did, which is why people started to make fun of it and make it worse. We've been seeing a lot of the way too many skincare videos for years now, so this is just like one of the iterations of it, but the morning shed to me is particularly diabolical. If you don't know what a morning shed is, it's people in the morning, whenever they wake up, they show them removing the layers and layers of beauty products that they sleep in, essentially. A few things. I cannot imagine that wearing this many products, at some point, they just gotta start canceling each other out. I mean, like, they must at some point just not work when they're combined. Also, another thing that I'm always curious when I see these videos, which is a take that I've seen many times before, is literally, how do you sleep like that? You must have to sleep completely rigid and straight like a vampire in a coffin to maintain that on your face and your head. What I would like to see is the success rate of wearing all of that as like a regular sleeper who like maybe moves around a little bit in the night. So wherever consumption comes into play is that a lot of the stuff featured in these videos is very one-time use. If you're sleeping with 5 face masks every night, and it's gonna take what, maybe like 100 years for each of those face masks to decompose, I can't really say that the morning shed must be very good for our environment. It's also not even what people put on their skin in these videos, but what they put around it. It's a lot of poorly made products that will definitely break, or whenever they find the new beauty product that comes out, they're just gonna throw away. Don't get me wrong, skincare is fun, wearing face masks are fun, but it seems like a lot of these people, or what they present as, is that they wear this stuff every night when you simply don't need to do that. You don't need to be doing all that. But basically the goal of the morning shed is that you wake up every day looking glorious and beautiful. And this is definitely one of my takes where it's like, but I just feel like, why do we have to wake up looking absolutely gorgeous every day? Why is it not acceptable on social media to wake up looking a little bit crusty and gross? I just feel like having to wake up and taking your morning shed off is just one of those reminders that society puts on women that they have to be absolutely beautiful every moment of their lives, or they're not fulfilling their need. And I think my feeling with that is that you don't need to be beautiful all the time, and I think if you're thinking about how can I look pretty when I wake up in the morning, then you are thinking far too much about yourself. It's like that Instagram story from Jessa from Girls, I forget what her real name is, but someone was like, how do you feel confident? And she was like, girl, you're thinking about yourself too much. That is how I feel about the morning shed, slightly. The other overconsumption trend, which I talked about a little bit in my first point, is this, what are we blank? What are we wearing for winter? What are we wearing for spring? What are we wearing for vacation? What are we wearing to my grandma's funeral? Like, I need someone to tell me. And what I don't get about this is it girls are traditionally trendsetters. So it kind of defeats the purpose of being an it girl if you're constantly looking for other people to tell you what to do. After doing a medium amount of research into the it girl world, the trends that are happening right now are gold jewelry, flat shoes, Shirts with like sayings or things on them, which we saw in the last point. Wearing your glasses in the middle of your nose, and a digital camera, which I do endorse. Digital cameras are fun. Sorry, wearing glasses in the middle of your nose, that was just something that I picked up on. A lot of the videos when people are wearing glasses talking about the it girl, it's always like here. So like you can sort of see their eyes, but it's like not actually covering with the sunglasses. That's just like a nitpick thing that I noticed, and I just thought it was kind of silly. Like all the things I just mentioned that are it girl trends right now, love them all. Honestly, fuck yeah. Trends will always exist and are fun, and I think they're a great way to find new clothing, new inspiration. But with the trends changing constantly and people wanting to be seen as the it girl, that leads to you over-consuming clothing, jewelry, makeup, whatever. And it makes it impossible for someone to fit into this standard of it girl without having the newest pair of shoes. It just really gets to me when I see people talking about how you can be an it girl and then it's an Amazon wish list. I love buying my personality from Amazon. Obviously, Amazon is accessible to people, but if you really want to be an it girl, do not buy that shit from Amazon. Go literally anywhere else, I beg of you. And I can already hear the comments down below saying, let women do things. And trust me, do whatever you want. I promise it has literally no impact on my life. I just think you can get so much more enjoyment out of your life and things that you have in your life if you actually put some thought behind it as to what you actually want rather than just following someone's Amazon wish list. Because contradictory to popular belief, owning things don't necessarily always make you cooler. Alright, I'm done being a hater now. Sorry, that was probably mean of me, but I feel like there was no other way to project that aside from being a little bit mean as to why I think certain ideas that surround this it girl mentality are wrong. Also, everything I just said could just be a difference in perspective, and if you think a different way, I literally can't change your mind, so. But to give some good examples as to what I think an it girl is and people I think embody it, let's take a moment to look at some of the most notable it girls of the past. So let's start with the person that you're probably gonna guess that I'm gonna start with. One of the most popular it girl sounds that's going around comes from an interview with Chloe Sevigny.
And people call you that phrase that they use too often, I think, it girl.
Right. Who for her whole life basically has been labeled as an it girl. She's been an independent artist, primarily in film, rising to fame with her role in Kids. In my opinion, the reason she's so worthy of the term it girl is not only her roles in film, but her amazing fashion sense and also her total commitment to art. Gonna be honest, some of her movies kind of make me a little bit sick to my stomach, but she's always been known to being things that are pushing the boundaries, and even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, she's just very strong with her beliefs when it comes to art. And that interview that TikTok audio sound was coming from is actually very interesting. And if you want to find out more about her upcoming work or the things that she's been in recently, I would highly suggest checking it out. Another it girl is Grace Jones, a multi-talented singer, actress, model, everything. She was art and she still is art. She's most well known for her modeling and her influence on fashion, but she just really has done everything. And with her modeling and fashion, every part of her is just so unique, and she once said herself, "It made me look more abstract, less tied to a specific race, sex, or tribe. I was black but not black, woman but not woman, American but Jamaican, African but science fiction." And I just think if you see any photos of her, you understand what she's saying. Like, she just has this aura and influence that is just so unique to herself, and I can't even imagine someone doing it today. I mean, people will do it again today, but she really was a blueprint. My final it girl of the past is Edie Sedgwick. I think we're gonna see a resurgence of Edie's influence in fashion in the upcoming years because the 60s is really gaining momentum right now. We've already seen a takeover of a part of her look, which is the pixie cut, which was very big in the 60s. Edie was a famous supermodel and muse for the artist Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol is an extremely famous artist who's very influential and also very controversial, but either way was a huge part of the 60s. She was partially known for being one of his muses. See, we don't have muses anymore. We need some more muses in the media. I love a muse. There's no denying that she had an extremely unique look to her. She was extremely bold with all of her choices. She came from an extremely wealthy family and decided to leave it all behind to try to be an artist in New York. And while obviously she did have that wealth to fall back on potentially, she still took a chance with moving to New York, and she became an icon because of it. She had such a unique look and also seemed to have a very unique personality as well. Now on to the final part. In defense of the social media it girl, bet you didn't expect this part after basically, what, 20 or some minutes of me being a fucking hater. But when I was finished writing this video, I felt that it was unfair to not wonder why someone might consume fashion, content, clothing the way that people that strive for this it girl mentality do. I think a reason a lot lot of people make these videos and follow this content comes from this subconscious performance that is hanging over women's heads, which I have felt this compulsive need to perform all the time for this invisible audience as well. I think social media has become a part of people's lives to the point where they feel like they spend more time virtually than they do in real life. So that even when we put our phones away, we feel like there's a little ghost or something following us around watching our every single move, which leads us to act, even if we're alone, like we're performing for an invisible audience. I've seen a lot of people talk about how even if they're sitting and doing nothing, that they still feel like they need to have good posture and look presentable and not be doing anything weird. It's not even social media, but society as a whole that has this unrealistic expectation as to what people should be, especially women. And not adhering to these standards could lead you to be ridiculed, talked down to, just overall treated like shit. And having that hanging over your head all the time, the anxiety can be so overwhelming that it's just easier for people to fall into the standard they're expected to, which a lot of these it girl videos are giving you a standard to follow. It would be easy to say, and I probably basically have in the beginning of this video, to just be like, be yourself. You're beautiful. But it's really not simple to break free of these expectations that are set upon people and women from the minute they're born. So while I have my critiques, I also have sympathy for the people that feel like they need to adhere to these it girl guides or feeling the need to be cool all the time. Not only for other people, but for myself as well. It would be a lie to say that I've never found myself thinking about how can I be prettier? How can I be skinnier? How can I get people to like me? But I found the more I try to be someone, the less that I am. Especially as I've been making this video, I've basically just been watching countless hours of footage of gorgeous women being gorgeous and rich, and I can't help but compare myself to them and even envy their lifestyles. How nice it would be to wake up, do Pilates, be rich. But I know deep down, even if you try to cover yourself up with this superficial perfection, there is so much more to being a woman. And I guess I just wish we saw more of the deep down when it comes to these it girl mentality videos, because I think it would do a lot of good for a lot of people. I couldn't decide how to end this video off. I went a few ways with it. One of the lines that I thought of was, "The one truth of life is that it doesn't stop until you die. And I find that comforting. If I achieve everything I want in life now, then what will I have to do tomorrow?" There was a point with that when I was writing it somewhere, but I was kind of like, I don't know if I want that to be the final message here, but I thought I would include it. I thought I would include it. So I'll leave you with this message. You are worth more than how other people perceive you. If you strive for what you believe greatness is in life, then you will never be dissatisfied with what you do. And I just hope that people, as their lives progress, they can find what truly makes them an it girl in their eyes.